everybody hear me? Hello. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another meeting. Okay. Yes. So this week is the first week of two presentations. So today we have a special guest with us, and that is Miss Trisha Ray Rodriguez. She's here in the participants. You guys can see her. So Miss Rodriguez has been an employee of the Water Resources Authority for over 10 years, and she is highly skilled and proficient in GIS and GIS-based applications. Now, today she'll be presenting to us a presentation on Water Resources Authority's Webmap. That's their information management system. So I hope you guys brought your notepads and your pens and pencils. Take notes as I turn the floor over to Miss Rodriguez so that she can continue her presentation. Miss Rodriguez.
Miss Thomas. Good afternoon, guys. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Water Resources Information System. Could you please enable screen sharing, Miss Thomas?
Okay, one second.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, go ahead now. Okay. All right, so I'm going to be talking to you about the Water Resources Information System that we maintain here at the WRA. You guys are seeing my screen?
Yes,
Yes, we
we're
are.
seeing.
Okay, good. So I'm just going to get right into it. The time said 35 minutes, but it's a very straightforward platform. So you guys should be able to easily understand what I share with you today, okay? So as Ms. Thomas mentioned, my name is Trisha Ray Rodriguez. I'm the GIS specialist at the Water Resources Authority. So I'm going to share with you a little about the WRA, what we do. I'm going to talk to you about how the WRIS, the Water Resources Information System, came about. And then I'm going to just get into a demo of the system. And then we're going to discuss some of the shortfalls because, you know, everything has its limitations and the planned upgrades that we hope to accomplish in the future. Okay, so the Water Resources Authority is a Government of Jamaica agency. It was established by the Water Resources Act in 1995. And the WRA holds responsibility for the management, protection, allocation, and use of our ground and surface water resources. So basically, for the island's fresh water resources. Okay, so what does the WRA do? We obtain, compile, and analyze hydrologic data pertaining to the water resources of Jamaica, and this forms the backbone of the Water Resources Information System that I'm going to talk to you about today. We also do flood mapping and flood assessment. So whenever you have flooding caused by river overflows, groundwater, depression flooding, any flooding caused by the physical environment. We do reports and assessments for those. We also prepare and update Jamaica's Water Resources Master Plan. And the Master Plan tells us, in a nutshell, the demand for water across the island and the availability of water across the island. And this is usually done for each watershed management unit, of which there are 26. Okay, we also regulate and allocate the use of fresh water resources. We have an entire unit, the permits and licenses unit, that is dedicated to water resources allocation. And importantly, we provide technical assistance to various government agencies, to consultants, to anything that may have a possible impact or relationship with the water resources in the island. So we work a lot with researchers, with the universities, students, and so on. Okay, so in order for us to do our work here at the WRA, hydrologic data collection is key. It's critical to what we do here. And so we collect data from two sources. We collect data from surface water sources, from rivers and springs, and from groundwater through wells and boreholes. We have an entire unit dedicated to data collection as well. And depending on the type of data, the type of data determines the frequency with which the data is collected. So just to give you an idea of where the data is coming from, we have 287 groundwater monitoring points, which we collect data from. We have, we have split this into 3 regions for easier management. And so these are the wells that we collect data from across the island. And for surface water, we have 130 stream gauges, some of which are spot measurements. We also have rain gauges that collect rainfall intensity data. That is not available on the Webmap. If you wish to have rainfall data, we normally direct you to the Met Office, but if you want the intensity data, you can request it from us in-house. Right, so for groundwater data, we collect groundwater level data. We collect this directly, we collect it ourselves, and we do this on a monthly basis. We also collect groundwater quality data, which is submitted by persons who are licensed to abstract and use water. So for example, the NWC, the NIC, private abstractors, those persons are required to submit water quality data for the sources twice per year. And the same thing applies for groundwater abstraction. Although this is measured daily, each well is supposed to have a pump attached to it that accounts for the amount of water being abstracted. The data is submitted at the end of each month. And for the surface water data from the rivers, we collect stream flow data, which is the daily flows, and we collect spot measurements. The spot measurements are for those rivers that we don't have a station. So once per month, we go to a particular location on that river and we collect flow data. We also collect surface water quality data and surface water abstraction. And as I mentioned before, the rainfall intensity data is available but not on the Webmap. You have to request that. Right, so this takes me to the water resources information system. All of this data that we're collecting, it is heavily utilized by the consultants, by the researchers, by the other government agencies that are doing their assessments as well. And so it became necessary for us to share that information on a platform for persons to easily access and use. And so in 2007, I believe, I was not here as yet, the first installation of the Webmap was done. We tend to call it the Webmap. And we did an upgrade in 2012, and then we launched it in 2013. And so the water resources information system is online based. It's designed to for the compilation, storage, and representation of our water resources. And as I mentioned earlier, it was installed in 2007 and updated in 2013. And it was developed by a Russian person and a guy from St. Lucia by the name of Jim Joseph and Mr. Dejan Nekik from Russia. It uses open source software. So the advantage of this is that it has no renewal licenses, no user fees, and we can customize it easily upon demand. But you have to pay the persons who develop the software. So it's not free in that sense. And Jamaica isn't the only country that uses a platform like this. A platform by the same persons was also developed for these countries: Martinique, Grenada, Barbados, St. Lucia, and Guyana. So why would you use the Water Resources Information System? Okay, so it's an application developed to make water resources information available to everyone without you having to install any software to access the data. And in so doing, you're able to quickly and easily assess the water resources in the island. And because the hydrologic data is stored in one database, you are able to access it in a standardized format that is consistent and uniform across all the layers that are available on the information system. It also has multi-browser support, though I would personally recommend you use Firefox or Internet Explorer. A lot of people don't use Explorer anymore, but so you can use, I would recommend Firefox, but it does work with Chrome. For optimal use, Firefox. It has a faster engine, so compared to modern web-based platforms, it tends to move pretty fast. It has a map interface, which will show you the location of the layers, and you can view the information on the web map in Google Earth. We used to have a Google Maps feature, but the Google Maps feature is currently not available, but you can view it in Google Earth. And the data on the web map is updated every 3 months, which is every quarter for us here. Now, when you go on the web map, we're in what now, October, we have data should be current from July to September. Is it July to September? Or April to June, because we would have updated it last quarter. So the data should be current from April to June. So the data is always up to the previous 3 months that we're coming out of. And this data can be downloaded in various formats. And so just to give you an idea of the process that is involved in making that data available to the public, we collect data in the field, we collect data in-house, and we collect data from other agencies as well. And so, for example, the Webmap has a sewage treatment plant layer that is from the Ministry of Health. And so once this data has been collected, it is quality checked by the responsible unit. It is then passed on to my unit, my department. Sorry, it is then placed into the appropriate data processing software and then pulled from my department for processing and uploading into the web map, and that makes it available to you guys in the public. And as I mentioned before, it's updated once every quarter. And so the users of this platform, chiefly water sector partners or developers and consultants, researchers like yourself at the university level, international groups, and members of the general public. Now, to access the Water Resources Information System, I'm going to give you a walkthrough now. This would be this procedure to access the web map. You go to our website, you go to resources, and you select Water Information System. So I'm going to do that now. And you will see firsthand what the platform is like. So this is the WRA's website. You would go to resources and you go to Water Information System. When you go to the website, it is important to pay attention. You guys are seeing it, right? I'm going to assume that you.
I'm not seeing the website right now. I'm still seeing your PowerPoint.
You might have to enable share again and then share the websites, but we're not seeing it right now.
I'm sorry about that, guys. I seem to have lost connection. I'm going to share my screen again. You guys are seeing the website now?
Yes, we're seeing it now.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Wonderful. Right. So once you enter the website, you have a manual that you can download to use the different data on the platform. And you should also pay attention to these notes in red, because it will contain important notices about what is happening with the website, right? So I would advise that you leave these defaults, but you can go ahead and change it around. Should always, you can change the base maps here, but you can just leave it at default for now. And the username is guest, the password is guest, and you sign in. Once you sign in, there's a list of all the layers that we have on the platform, right? For optimal use, you should select only the layers of interest at any particular point. You can select multiple layers, but for optimal use, you select the ones that you are interested in. So I am going to select the watershed management units as an example, and the wells. And you can choose to display all the wells or only those wells with data attached. And I'll get into the data attachment shortly. I'm going to display all the wells. Right. And once you enter the platform, this is a table of contents. So you can expand to see all the wells. You can expand the WMUs to see all the watersheds. And whatever you select is highlighted. And you have metadata about each feature that you click on. So there's a little snapshot here about the different layers that are presented. Now, if you notice in the wells, you're seeing the wells, right? So if you notice, some of the wells will have a plus sign beside them and others do not. The wells that have a plus sign beside them have data attached to it. And as I mentioned in the presentation, this data can be either groundwater level, water quality, or abstraction data. The wells may also have the well record attached, or the well lithology attached, or a photo of the well for some wells. So essentially you can, if you know a well or you're looking for a particular well, you can also type the name here and search for it. Okay, so I'm searching for Old Harbor Vase #1. Once I find it, I can select it. But I could also have scrolled down and select it here, right? Now, once you select a well, as I said, if it has a plus sign, the data that is attached becomes visible. I'll get into the data attachment soon, but on the map interface as well, you can change the base maps. So you can view the road base map to sort of orient yourself. So once you have the roads on, you can guess that this area is the Bernard Lodge area. It gives you some context. And you have the land use, you have a satellite base map as well. So you can just play around with the different base maps that are available, right? And you may be interested in the entire well layer, right? If you are interested in the entire well layer, you can click the identify button here. And then you can view everything as a, let me get this out of the way. You can view it as a table. Or if you want to download it, you can download it as an Excel file. And once you download it as an Excel table, it will be downloaded with the coordinates, and you can view that in a GIS software as points, as a point feature, right? Also, clicking on a well, you can open it in Google Earth, as I mentioned, and notice each feature that you click on has additional information. So for this, you'll see the well name, the owner, whether it's pumping or not. So this is a pumping well. You'll see the type of well, the aquifer, and some wells may have the elevation data, the well depth. It's also captured in the well record. So If I want to view this well on Google Earth, I simply click Google Earth and it should open it in Google Earth. And it will open as fast as your machine works. So like how my machine isn't maybe the fastest, it may take a little while. But while that opens, I mentioned the data, viewing the data before. So this is older above as 1, right? It's my Google Earth 30. Okay, proceed anyway. Right, so this is the different type of data that is attached to this particular well, which is older above as 1, right? So we have the groundwater level data. To view the groundwater level data, you can select a time period. So if you just wanted to view 2020, you could view from 2020 to 2020. The value is above sea level, which is preferred. You have below ground level, you have the well state, the remarks, and all parameters will give you all the data that is available for the water levels. So I just want to view the above sea level data from say 2019 to 2020. I can display it as a table, which it comes up, or let me choose a longer time period. I can display it as a table, or I can show it as a chart, which you can do a print of, or you can view it as an Excel table, a Word report, or download it as a CSV file. And once you click Word or Excel, it will open in Excel if you have it installed. If you click Word, it will open in Word. So if I click the Excel table, click Display, it opens in Excel, and you have the data available. And are you seeing the data?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good. Right, so back to the web map. So you have different formats within which you can view the data. You can view the well record as an attachment, which gives you information about the well, or you can view the abstraction data, which is the same idea behind the groundwater levels. Oops, I did not select a time period. Right? And remember, you can download this information. Now, what I would recommend, if you're going to download the information, I would recommend that you view all parameters. Because in viewing all parameters, viewing all parameters, you will see important information about the data that you would not have otherwise seen if you selected above sea level or below ground level alone. So for example, you may see a value that looks off, and you may be wondering why. You may see, oh, well, the well was pumping when it was measured, which is not ideal for water level measurements. When the web map was just created, it could not accept null values. We have since fixed that issue, but all the data represents that first installation of the web map. So we put in the remark that 0 is not a measurement, so you know not to include it in whatever analysis you are doing. As you proceed into newer times, you should see that that is no longer a problem. So it is very important that you view all parameters when you're downloading the data, so you can see the information about the data, right? And the same goes for all the other variables here. We also have something that is used a lot by people like Dr. Mandel. We also have the stream gauge stations, which is another popularly used it's another popularly used layer, right? I'm going to just log out and log back in. Sometimes you will encounter bugs, just log out and log in if the layer is not being visible. Right, so for the gauge stations, it's the same idea. You have spot measurement data, which I said is monthly measurements. You have daily flows, which is preferred, I know, for the hydrologic modeling and so on that goes on. And you have the station photos that you can see what the station looks like, right? So all of this data, the stream flow data, which You won't have all parameters for stream flow because it's in a simple string format, but you can download it in Excel or Word, just as with the wells. Some layers, such as the hydrostratigraphy layer, may have a map attached to it. So remember, once you see a plus sign beside the object, there's a map attached. You can display the map, and you can save the image by right-clicking. So you should have access to that map, right? And it's the same idea right across the board. If you click the hydrologic basins, you will notice it has abstraction data attached as well. This is because the abstraction data attached to the wells are currently being updated, as the notice said on the login page. So I've, in the interim, uploaded the data for all the wells to each basin. So if you want the most up-to-date information, you go here and you download it as an Excel just the same. And it should open in Excel. Right. So also, persons may be interested in viewing the entire layer. So notice when I said Google Earth, it was able to open one well. See the well here? This is the well on Spanish Town Road, or off Spanish Town Road rather. But you may want the entire well layer for the entire island. So in that case, what you would do, or I'm going to use the gate stations in this case, you click identify, you say Google Earth, and you display again. And then now you have all the wells for the island on Google Earth with information about the wells, right? And the general idea is that for individual views on Google Earth, you click on the source, you identify it, and you click Google Earth. If you want the entire layer, you click the identify button here, and you use Google Earth here, right? Let me see, is there anything else of note that I left out? I don't. So what I'm going to do now, oh, there's also another function where if you wanted to view the statistics about the data uploaded, you can view it here as well. So this is your map view to view the location of the layers, and this is your data view to view the, basically this will give you a summary of the data. And if you see anything look off, you can always send us an email and say, I'm not understanding why this value is this way or that way, and we will definitely provide you with a response. It is important when you download the data to go through it, because human beings are putting up the data. So just in case, you want to be sure that what you're putting into your work is correct and accurate, go through the data, right? And this applies to any platform that you guys use. So this is the general idea behind the Water Resources Information Platform. Very simple, very straightforward, I hope. And just for you to bear some things in mind.
All right, thanks, Cass.
I'm going to talk to you a little about the limitations of the platform, right? So it's an old platform. Last installation was in 2013. So it requires updating to the latest platform built by the developers. And it's not readily integrated into modern GIS platforms, right? Because it's a bit old and lacks the functionality of a modern web-based platform, in that you don't have the usual distance or measurement tools. You have limited querying, geoprocessing, spatial analysis capabilities. You have limited scalability, meaning you can only zoom in so far and no more. And it doesn't use standard base maps such as OpenStreetMap or common file types such as feature classes and geodatabases. also does not use the JAD 2001 coordinate system. So if you download a layer and you are going to convert it for use in a software, it will give you the WGS84 system, which is what Google Earth and most open street maps use anyway. So it's not a big deal. It does not use the standard GIS formats, and support for maintaining the platform is limited to the 2 persons who develop the software, unlike your commercial software where you have a whole team of people working on it. But going forward, we plan to explore alternatives to improve the WRIS. So we're looking into Esri-based solutions. We're looking into GeoNode, which is another web-based platform. Or we customize this current platform to suit our needs. But whatever upgrades we make, naturally, the different stakeholders will be informed, right? And with that, that is basically the end of my presentation. So if anybody has any questions or queries, you can let me know now, or you can make a note of the contact information and drop us an email.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. I have a few questions from some participants who are having issues really logging onto the Zoom platform. So the first one that came up was, in regards to the wells in the island, is there a reason why it seems that the northeastern section of the island has less amount of wells compared to the southern section of the island?
Yes, this is where you have, if we were to add the I'm going to add the hydrostratigraphic layer. We're going to view the map so you can sort of understand it a little bit more. Right, so in this section of the island, it is basal aquiclude. Most of the water resources occur as surface water, because the rocks don't allow for water to be stored underground a lot. So most of the wells will be located in the Anatomy area where you have a little aquifer going on up there, but most of it have a lot of limestone now, not your volcanic rocks, your limestone and so on. It has a lot of groundwater, the limestone aquifer and so on. So that is why you have most of the groundwater occurring in these areas. So this is where your aquifers are, this is where your aquicludes are. So that's clear, right? Hello?
Huh? Yeah, you make it come in fast.
You guys are able to hear? Hello?
Yes, it was very clear.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Excellent talk. I really enjoyed the walkthrough of the database.
Okay, glad to share it with you today. So if
I've
are there any?
Before, but I learned more to be a better user of it.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Are there any more questions? Okay, I'm seeing someone, Pauline, who has raised her hand. Yes, go ahead.
In the Portland area, is the reason for it being mostly aquiclude, is it because